What's up, everyone? In this video, we have some giant updates with Square and Block. They just reported earnings, and this stock is just blasting to the upside. Square is up over 24% today, and it's trading higher by the minute. I think there is a giant opportunity with this company. Stick with me today, guys. We're going to make today's video quick and to the point, but again, I think there's a big opportunity with this one, so stick with me. All right, so in this video, we're going to cover what's happening with Square stock, what the company is doing fundamentally, and some important things to know with this stock. So stick with me. We got a good video, and we're not going to waste any time. So looking at Square's fundamentals, I guess you can say first, in 2021, Square's annual revenue was $17.6 billion. In 2020, Square's annual revenue was $9.5 billion. In 2019, Square's annual revenue was $4.7 billion. If you just look at this chart right where my cursor is, you can see that Square's annual revenue has just been constantly growing year after year after year, and it is increasing at just an exponential pace. Last year, their annual revenue, or in 2020, their annual revenue was $9.5 billion. In 2021, their annual revenue was $17.6 billion. That is a gigantic jump. You know, like, that's a lot, all right? If we go down and scroll even more, they are cash flow positive. Overall, they're just growing as a company. Even their quarterly revenue year over year is growing. We could see in 2021, in the most recent quarter, they had a quarterly revenue of just under $4.1 billion. Last year, in the same quarter, they had a quarterly revenue of $3.15 billion. That's about a 30% increase, which is huge for a company as big as Square. You know, like I say in almost every fundamental analysis video, it's pretty easy for a company to go from $1 million in revenue to $2 million in revenue. But it's a lot harder to have a company go from $9.5 billion in revenue to $17.6 billion in revenue. That's a giant jump. And then you're probably wondering, all right, well, it's awesome. The revenue's increasing, but what's going on with the stock? It's getting destroyed. And yeah, it's getting destroyed. So fundamentally, Square is looking pretty good. Like I said, their revenue is increasing rapidly. They're cash flow positive, but their stock's getting destroyed. Part of this is just because of how rates have been rising, and a lot of stocks have been selling off. You know, basically any stock you look at in the market right now is taking a gigantic hit. So I think part of it is just the market being the market. And another part is that short sellers have definitely been flowing into this stock over the past couple months, but it appears that short sellers are covering. If we look at the FinViz short float report, you can say, we can see according to FinViz, the short float on Square is around 13%, which is pretty high for a company like Square. So it looks like right after Square reported earnings, you know, obviously they just blasted up, and it looks like shorts are definitely covering their position, and it also looks like just investors are buying the dip. Another thing is if we go to Square's shareholder letter highlights, we could see they said in the fourth quarter of 2021, we generated a gross profit of $1.18 billion, up 47% year over year. Cash App generated gross profit of $518 million, up 37% year over year. Like they're growing. You know, even if we scroll down a little bit more for the 2021 highlights overall, for the full year of 2021, gross profit was $4.42 billion, up 62% year over year. So they are growing. And just a quick little add-on, for those of you who don't know what Square is or what they do, Square owns a lot of things, but the two things that they are most known for, you can say, is their Cash App. I'm sure you guys heard of this. It's a pretty big app. So Cash App, and they also have like these like payment terminals and like coffee shops and restaurants and a bunch of things like that. I'm sure you've seen them before, just these little terminals right here. But either way, they are rapidly growing. And then on top of that, just a couple months ago, Jack Dorsey stepped down from Twitter and actually, you know, he's just focusing on Square full time, which is now known as Block. But I think that's also saying something. Jack Dorsey, whether you like him or you don't like him, the fact that he left Twitter to focus on Square full time it definitely says something. You know, like if he didn't think Square had a lot of potential, he would not have left Twitter to focus on Square full time. So I think that's saying something too. And then just looking back at Square's fundamentals, like they're growing and their stock is falling. Like this is like exactly what you want to see when you're looking to buy and hold shares. And then on top of that, you know, it's one thing to buy and hold shares of a company, but a lot of times it depends on the price that you pay. So if we look at their price to sales ratio, Square's price to sales ratio is about as low as it's been in a long, long time. To be more specific, the price to sales ratio is as low as it's been since like 2016. Like this is ridiculous. If we look at July of 2020, we can see that Square stock was trading for around the same level that it's trading at right now. But here's the thing. In July of 2020, Square had a price to sales ratio of 10. So that means that you had to pay $10 for every $1 in sales. Okay, now the price to sales ratio is around 3. So you only have to pay $3 for every $1 in sales. On top of that, Square has more sales than they had in July of 2020, and they're continuing to grow at a rapid pace. So to me, I love this. I love to see this for like a long-term buy and hold play. On top of that, they're in an industry that is continuing to grow. And overall, I love it in terms of a fundamental basis. I think they're a great growth company. I own shares in Square, and I have short put options on them, meaning that I'm essentially getting paid to buy shares of Square. So that's awesome. I'm definitely an investor into Square. And then shifting over into the technicals on Square, clearly the short term has been brutal. However, the long term has been fantastic. Ever since 2016, this stock has basically been in a non-stop uptrend. In 2016, this stock was trading for around $8 a share. They had highs of $289 a share just a couple months ago, and now they're right around $117. We can see that overall they are in a giant uptrend, and they're at like a dip right now. If we look a little bit more recent, you can say, there is a gigantic support level right around $100 each, and another support level right around $90 each. If we look at resistance, there's a pretty big resistance right around 123. There's a stronger resistance level right around 140. And then if we zoom out a little bit more, there's also resistance at 160. And then there's a stronger level at 200. So naturally, we do have a lot of resistance overhead, but that's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, when you have the stock plummet, like we've seen so many other stocks plummet over the past couple months, it's just kind of how the market is sometimes. So overall, I think their technicals look good, especially for like, maybe like a play, like a share play for the next couple weeks or next couple months. Does this mean it's the bottom with Square? Absolutely not. The stock's up 24% today. They're trading at a good valuation, in my opinion. When you just look at their fundamentals, it's hard to pass up on them, in my opinion. And overall, I just like the setup. And just like some of my final thoughts is, I feel like that, the fact that Jack Dorsey straight up left Twitter to focus on Block/Square full time, I think that's really saying something. I also think it's very, very awesome that the price to sales ratio right now is around $3, which is as low as it's been since 2016. So it's like you're buying into a company that's growing rapidly and you're paying a good price for them. On top of that, they are cash flow positive. They're in a growing industry. They're behind some great companies like Cash App and, of course, Square. Like I said, they're growing, cash flow positive. And I just like the setup, and I own shares of Square, and I do not plan on selling them anytime soon. So with that being said, guys, if you like the way I analyze Square today, definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below to check out the brand new stock analysis dashboard. You can type in any stock ticker symbol and instantly get access to the most important data that is driving any stock. We have some insane updates in the works with this one. I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss this. We have some insane updates. The price will definitely be rising in the future, and I'm very excited for these updates. If you decide to sign up and when the price rises, you'll be locked in at your price for life. Right now, it's a one-time payment, but like I said, this dashboard is going to be There's so many awesome updates. I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss it. So definitely check it out. It's that first link in the description and the comments down below. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching today's video.